What's going on, everyone? Gilman with the Wellthy Stocks, back with another weekly Palantir update video where we take a look at how Palantir stock traded this past week, key levels of support and resistance that we are looking at moving into the future, and based on that, what we think Palantir stock could do. We'll also take a look at earnings coming up, what that could mean for the stock, what we think earnings are going to look like, as well as some couple other pieces of news that came out recently. So real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to hit that like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and comment down below what your thoughts on Palantir are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. So let me hit record and we will head over to Palantir here and get right into it. So what do we see here? This week was not a great week for Palantir. As we talked about in the early part of the week, it did run up a little bit and we were hoping for a little bit more of a run, but we saw a decent sell-off in the second half of the week, partly due to kind of the lockup expiration that's coming up. So we'll take a look at some key pieces of news that are coming up, and then we will take a look at what that could mean for the stock in the future. So let me go over here. The first thing, this happened a couple weeks ago. As you guys know, Palantir signed a deal with Rio Tinto, multi-year enterprise partnership to use their Foundry platform with Rio Tinto, which is one of the world's leading mining and metals corporations. So we saw that, and this is one of the many deals that we've seen in recent times where they're kind of getting new clients or signing new projects with existing clients, and we're getting kind of news of these deals happening over and over again, which is great news. But I wanted to highlight this one because it's a pretty big one and it's with a really large global company. The other thing that I want to talk about is we saw this past week what we saw with the IBM deal. Now, this is great for both Palantir and IBM because it gives Palantir a partnership with a very well-established company, by the name of IBM, of course. And it's really good for IBM because it gives them a low-code, no-code, easy interface that integrates right into their IBM Watson technology. So you guys know IBM has been working on their Watson technology for a while now. It's one of their big things currently. And so the fact that this can integrate really easily into it means both of these companies are going to benefit from it. There will be great synergy moving forward. Now, they talk about this, a lot here. The CFO of Palantir, or COO, excuse me, also talks that this is the largest partnership they've ever done, and this is a great deal for both IBM as they're shifting towards focusing on being a software company, and Palantir as they're looking to kind of establish themselves in the big industry. So this deal definitely gets them there. It gets them access to IBM's great availability of resources, for lack of a better term, and that they're using their technology and working well together. So this is great, right? And then gives IBM the ability to go into production using AI. So that all happens. What does that mean for the company moving forward, right? These are deals that we're seeing over and over again. Well, as the company grows, and especially the way Palantir stock price has been rising, they need deals like this to kind of keep that investor's idea of where the company's going, right, moving forward, right? So Palantir, the way the stock price is moving, has a ton of growth expectation that needs to be met for investors to keep being happy and keep investing in Palantir. And so these deals coming out are just kind of reiterating that Palantir is a growing company and that we should hopefully continue to see this moving forward. Let's take a look now at what earnings could mean, and do we have a blowout earnings quarter, right? That's what we all want to know. If you follow Palantir for a little bit, right, this quarter earnings is a big deal because they've gotten some crazy good contracts going, and stock prices ran up a ton as well. And so this, I think, earnings will really determine where the stock price goes next. Now, let's go right into this part of the video. So Q4 2020, that's the earnings we are waiting on. It's happening 2 days from today on February 16th before market open. So market open the next time on Tuesday, we will already have known what Palantir earnings are. Now, let's take a look. And again, this is what I'm, kind of seeing. Don't take any of this as financial advice, obviously, right? So do your own research and let's take a look at what we are going. So in this article, they talk about some projections straight from Palantir, and then this person goes back and kind of does a little bit of their own analysis to see, hey, do I agree with this? Do I think it's better than this? Do I think it's slightly worse than this? So let's take a look at that. So what are they talking about? Well, they are estimating 2 cents of EPS, and the revenue estimate is $300 million, $301.07 million. So this is Palantir. This is coming straight from Palantir, excuse me. And they are expecting 31% revenue growth year over year. And they're expecting year-over-year revenue growth to be greater than 30% through 2021. So every quarter, year-over-year growth greater than 30%. So that is great. Again, they're setting the bar pretty damn high, pretty darn high. I don't know if I'm okay, whatever. Pretty darn high, right? And they're saying that, hey, this is kind of what we can meet, and we are going to try to meet that. So again, Q4 2020 estimated revenue $300 million, and then their adjusted operating income guidance is $47 million, which is 16%. So let's take a look at what they're talking about here with adjusted operating income. Now that includes obviously stock-based compensation, employer payroll taxes, and a lot of other things that so GAAP is the way that you kind of measure accounting, right? Generally accepted accounting principles. So you take basically the earnings number, and there's stuff you can add and stuff you can take out to get to the GAAP earnings per share. So that's essentially what that is. Quick update on that. So this person is talking about, hey, operating income could be far under or far over their estimate, right? And the reason why they're saying that is because the reason they're looking closely at revenue rather than earnings per share is because of how volatile Palantir stock has been. If revenues are going up 30% year over year, clearly the company's on the right track, right? But earnings per share they're talking about the momentum that it's had due to it being on part of Wall Street bets and a couple other things that maybe don't necessarily factor into the growth, right? And the fact that Palantir is a growing company and they're investing a lot of their money that they're earning back into the company, right? The EPS does matter, but what matters more is, hey, are they going out and getting bigger contracts? Are they capturing a bigger market share? And therefore, the EPS will kind of follow, as you see with other bigger companies that like Tesla, that took a while to get profitable. Even Amazon, right, took a while to get profitable. So what they're talking about is, hey, Palantir guidance said 300 million, analysts said 300 million, but let's take a look at some deals that they've had recently, right? So in October, $91 million deal with the US Army Research Lab. October 2nd, $36 million IDIQ contract. October 22nd, $5 million. November 18, $5 million. December 7th, $44 million. Army Vantage, $114 million. UK Health, $31.5 million. Now the Rio Tinto and the IBM deal are not going to be in this because they were after the end of 2020, right? This is going up until December 31st, 2020, because this is for Q4 2020, right? So again, that stuff isn't even included in this, but this person's math kind of shows 327 million, right? But just slightly above that $300 million. So that's great, right? But what they're talking about is a couple of these were estimates, right? They're taking estimates. So they're taking the total deal, dividing it up by how they see it being divided out. So based on all that, right, they're talking about 327 millions, which is about 27 million more than the 300 that they are, that the expectation is. And they're talking about, again, Palantir is talking about a 35% growth year over year from 94 to $127 million. 44% of their total revenue, right? So again, they're talking about per customer revenue going up 38%, average revenue of top 20 customers going up 36%, and that is great news as well. In the third quarter, revenue grew 52% year over year. Again, Some of this, as a lot of people have said, was that, you know, the coronavirus pandemic and making a lot of deals with the government definitely helped them get there. But I do think that the potential of them to re-ink some of their deals, not necessarily around, you know, COVID or PPP related stuff, but because they're going to do hopefully good work, it could lead to more, you know, maybe the same department gives them work for something else. And the other great thing about Palantir is, once the data is in their system, it's proprietary. So, you know, taking the data out is not as easy, which is great for Palantir because it means customers will likely, you know, use them in the future. So again, they are confident that their latest R&D investments allow their solutions to be modular, take what you want, build what you need type of thing. So again, they're talking about, you know, this article talks about the fact that Palantir could have amazing revenue, the 300 million that they expected. Again, this person calculated 327, but talks about the fact that it could very, very easily be in the 350 to $400 million range, which would be absolutely amazing. And they're saying that they'll hit 3 to 5 cents in earnings per share. But you know, that's what they're talking about. So it'll be great to see how that is. So again, that'll be Tuesday with earnings coming up before the bell. It'll be really interesting to see what happens. Now let's get right into the rest of the video where we take a look at future levels of support and future levels of resistance. So we saw a dip below the 36 this week, right? And then we pushed up, couldn't quite break high of week again. And then we sold off a little bit, hit up against 36, couldn't quite break it. Broke below this level, 34s, bounced off of our 32 level, pushed up, and then again, we're below this level. Now, these lines that you see are not lines that we drew after the fact, you guys. These are lines that we've had on the chart that we look at on a daily basis. So if you like these lines, you know, feel free to check out my other videos. I make them pretty much on a daily basis. And as you can see, right, perfect support, support again, resistance, couldn't quite break it, support right there. So these lines have acted as really good levels. So if you guys are interested in that, check it out. If you like what I'm using here, I'm using Webull. Link is in the description below if you want some free shares to sign up using that referral link, and it'll get both of us some free shares. Now, this is the daily chart for Palantir, and if you've been around for a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. So we were looking at the bull pennant here, and we caught the breakout here, took us from 25 to 35s, followed by a push towards the 45 level. Then we started to fall, and we talked about a little bit of a U that was happening, the rounding out, and then we pushed up. Then we are starting to move down. Now, the key thing here, you guys, is a couple different things that I see, right? I think the key level here is when we went up, here, right, we came down and we came all the way down to the 21 EMA. But more so than that, right, we're talking about this $30 level that it bounced off of, which I think is a really, really important level for us to kind of monitor as we come right back down, right? So we came right back down here, right, bounced off the 21 EMA, but more so I think the key here is the $30 level. We pushed up again, and then we came right back down. We are pretty close to that $30 level again, so I'm really interested to see if we keep falling, whether we see a little bit of a reversal from that level as well. So let's take a look now at some of our indicators, or excuse me, where do you got the indicators? Let's take a look now at those numbers specifically, right? So we dropped down, bounced off the 21 EMA, came right back up, and now we're going down again. So let's talk about future levels of support, future levels of resistance. First level of support that we have coming up right here is, first level of support we have here is at this $30 level, which is also the 34 EMA. So I think that's going to be really important for us to see, you know, moving forward, what we can find there. So the 34 EMA is at $30.52. Our level's at $30.39. So I think that should be a good level, a really good level of support based on, you know, this 34 EMA, this level that we have as a general support, as well as kind of where we bounced last time. If we keep dropping, we've got more support in the 2940s and then a little bit more support in the 28s. But if we start to push up, which is what I'm hoping for, you know, we've got the 32 level, right, in the 3280s. And then we've got the $34.17 or $34.19, and then we've got the $36.72 as well, right? So taking over the 21 EMA in the 3230s, capturing the 3280s, and then taking over the 8 EMA 3390s, capturing the 3430s, and then pushing towards 3672. Again, if we see a blowout quarter, you guys, with awesome guidance, we could start to go around again and really start to push up, potentially starting an inverse head and shoulder, but that's for a later date. My goal for this week would be, look, if we go down, we really need to bounce at this 30 level and then start to push back up. But I think if we see great guidance, would not be surprised to see it kind of at this 36 and testing the highs of this past week in the 38 very, very quickly. Remember that lockup expiration is still happening, so that could cause a little bit of turbulence. But personally, I'm looking to add some shares, this week as well. I'm slowly building out my position in Palantir and dollar cost averaging in. So I'm looking to, buy more shares if we do see it pushing down. If not, I'm looking to ride it right back up and then wait for another pullback. So as I've said, I continue to hold my shares, continue to hold my leaps, looking to probably add another short-term call position once it can establish and really start to gain momentum and going up again. Again, want to see it reverse, whether that happens, right out of the gate because of earnings and we start to push up, or if it goes down just a little bit and then bounces off this 30 level. Remember that any bad guidance or no guidance could also be negative news. So don't just, think that it could only go up from here. I think long term, we go up from here, right? That's my belief. I'm bullish on Palantir. But short term, depending on how earnings goes, depending on how lockup expiration goes, could really determine how the stock trades in the near upcoming weeks. But again, hoping for a reversal here at the 30s if we do go there. Otherwise, a ride up to kind of this 36 level and then the 38 level. And then hopefully we reach 40 sometime in the first half of this year, if not, this month alone. So that's all I had for you guys today. I wanted to share kind of what I'm hoping for in earnings. We'll do a earnings deep dive, when earnings happen on this channel. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and like this video. Comment down below what your thoughts on Palantir are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.